The public hearing was called to order at 6:02 PM in the Administration Building, 17 Ariel Road, Blackwood, New Jersey. Notices of this meeting were forwarded to the Courier Post, Clerk of the Township, the district website, and members of the Board of Education, and posted in the Board of Education offices at 17 Ariel Road, Blenheim, New Jersey. Please note that this board meeting may be audio videotaped. Can we rise for the flag salute, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we get the roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz,
Here.
Mrs. Galnick. Mr. Gibbons. Here. Ms. Gore. Mrs. Henry.
Here.
Mr. Hutchinson.
Here.
Mrs. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. Dentino.
Here.
Ms. O'Donnell.
Here.
Wait.
I did hear from Mrs. Galanick and Mrs. Gore that they could not attend this evening. Can we get the report of the business administrator, please?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to hook this up to the TV. Thinking. There we go. Hello, hello. You can hear me. This is the 25-26 school budget presentation. Where should I stand that I don't interfere with the camera? Over here? Right here? Okay. You have a presentation in front of you. I'm going to go through it for the public. We're also going to post it on the district website for tomorrow, along with the user-friendly budget, which also needs to be posted within 48 hours of the budget being approved. So let's go through the slides. This is how the presentation is. You're going to see enrollments by grade level in school. You're going to see revenues by category, select appropriation categories. You can see, I think there's a three-year trend you'll get to see. Tax levy information highlights that are included in the budget. This is enrollment by school. I think this was taken April 1st. And the next one you'll see, I think on the next slide is by grade level. So it's a little over 6,500 kids that are actually enrolled in our schools. There's another, I want to say another 150 that attend out of district placements. So all told, there's probably almost 6,700 kids actually that are enrolled. And then you could see what we look like by grade level. I think next year I'm going to put this side by side last year and this year, and you can see the trends as they go up. As you can see, April 1st right there. You can see where the grade levels are a little bit higher on the 7th and 8th grade as they leave and go to high school. The pre-K level, that should expand a little bit because we're going to go to 2 neighboring preschools, and I think they're going to take up either 30 to 45 kids, I think, somewhere around there. I don't know the exact number, but it's around there. So that number should go up for next year. These are revenues. The tax levy is number 1. As you can see, every year, the citizens of Gloucester Township have been paying their share to keep the schools open. Miscellaneous revenue, that could be anything. I mean, that's interest earned. There's rental income that's in there when we rent our buildings out, things like that. State aid, as you can see, state aid has been going up every year. This year, I think we got about $2 million more in state aid. Tuition, that's relatively the same. And that's tuition that we charge for kids that actually come here. Semi-revenue, for some reason, the way the federal government reimburses us for Medicaid, this is what this is for. It's usually special ed kids that have medical services that are provided. We're not allowed to bill in the summertime now when we have summer programs. and they made some other changes. And as you can see, it's almost like a $225,000 difference we lost. And there's a lot of schools that are complaining about that. Capital reserve, as you can see, the 3-year trend. Obviously, last year we had the ROD grant, which is going to be completed this year and next year, which we'll get into it as we get through the slides. There's a couple things that are in for this year also. Restricted reserve is just the fund balance at the end of last year that we're appropriating in for this year. So the total budget for the general fund is $139,369,518, which the majority of that you can see is basically the cap reserve difference. And I think on the next slide, we're going to show it visually. So you can see state aid, which is the orange on the left, tax levy is green on the right. Those are the two majority of where our revenue comes from. When you look at it, it's $127 million is coming from those two sources. The other things were, smaller, but they're there. These are appropriations, and when you look at 3 years, you can see like the trends. So the board has done a good job with supporting regular programs because they're always going up. We're always supporting what's going on in schools. Special education programs have kind of stayed the same a little bit. Academic services are things that provide support: nurse, library, guidance, all those things. Child study team, they're all part of academic support services. Tuition, and you'll see the difference from 3 years ago to now. 3 years ago, there was a lot of tuition that was put under the federal government when all the ESSER money came in. So a lot of our tuition was paid through the feds. So the last couple of years, we've been putting a lot of money to get us where we need to be. We're kind of there now. As you can see, it's about the same number. Facility maintenance, same thing here. A lot of it was paid through ESSER when that came through the federal government. That's all gone now. So actually, you're seeing it all rise into our general budget now. Transportation's relatively the same. Employee benefits, I mean, there's nothing you can do about this. I mean, you're going to see this on your approval for the May agenda, what our rates have gone up. But this year, I think prescription has driven home the bus. That's the one that's like 3 times as more as medical. But you'll see that when we renew it in 2 weeks. School office admin and technology is relatively consistent. What we pay for extracurricular sports is relatively consistent. Capital outlay and capital reserve, we kind of covered them in the last one, and we'll see a few of that a little bit later on. And then visually, you can see it. So regular programs, bottom right, blue, and then you can see them all portioned off. The top blue one is employee benefits, and this will be posted for those of the public that wants to see it. It'll be posted on the website tomorrow. Tax levy information. We're raising more than 2% this year. It's 2.65%. It's $1.4 million, a little bit more than that. On the average home value, it's about $51 on the average home value. It's about per year. That's per year. Yeah. That'll be a little bit clearer on the next slide. Yeah, it's per year. And on the next slide, let me just get to the next slide. The rate's actually up 2.5 cents. So really, it's $51 a year for the average home value, and if you're double the average home value of $379, then it's it's $102. So it's about $4.25 per month if you're an average home, and if you're double the average home, it's about $8.51. And that's gone up every year, and this goes up and down depending on the ratables of the township. Some budget highlights. I think there's 4 slides to talk about everything that's in the budget. So the normal programs that are in the school are unaffected. What we're doing is we're adding to that. So what you see here, so through the last 5 months, we've gathered lots of information from all the supervisors, the principals, And we go through that and we put in what we think is necessary. Tim Tro, I think, is sitting over here. He plays a major role in some of the things that are in here. Actually, almost all of this is Tim Tro's right now. So, yeah, 2 additional elementary teachers. I think an additional Spanish teacher. I think we're going to be centralizing central registration and pulling it out of the schools. So the support staff to make that happen are in here. And during your curriculum meetings, I'm sure he has talked about a new curriculum for language arts in the elementary schools, and I'm sure he's talked about a new science curriculum for the middle schools. So they're all in here. So that's the new things that our kids are going to get for next year. These are some things that came through from the principals. Some principals asked for desks for the chairs and the teachers. So you're seeing 2 of these are repeats because they didn't have enough money to do it last year. So Ariel and Lily. Lauren Fleming is new this year. Library furniture both came in from Glen Landing and Lewis. I think Glen Landing's a little bit more than Lewis. There's some kitchen floor replacements. Now, I think I put 2 schools up there, but I actually think it's going to be 3 schools. So last year, we used the vendor that's under state contract. So we found another vendor, happens to be a bit cheaper. So we think we can do 3 schools. So that the one that's not on there is going to be Ariel School. So it's going to be Ann Mullen, Choose, and Ariel should get new kitchen floors. And that's paid for through the cafeteria, by the way. The district-wide intrusion system, which is a large purchase, it's every building, lets us know. We had a presentation about 2 weeks ago on this. It lets us know every door that's open in a district. It lets us know who accessed it. We can mirror the cameras up to the door. So if we want to know who opened this door, if you have a lost key that gets entered, it'll capture them on a camera that's by the door. There's a lot of program that goes into that, but we hope to have this up and running by the time school starts. There's a lot of work with that. Ceiling replacements. This is an odd thing, but this came through definitely from Lewis for sure. Ted was asking for this, so we're not going to do everything, but we're going to do some of it. And I think we're going to do the front hallway from where you enter the building by his office all the way down by the gym, by the cafeteria, all the way to I think where the library would be. Same thing with Blackwood, the front hallway also. And in Blackwood, I think there's going to be some painting. If you've ever been in Blackwood and Ariel, they have a tile on the hallway. I think his is orange. I think we're going to do something with the tile to lighten up the hallway a little bit. Fire alarm system in JW Lilly. Every year when I sit down with Sonny, he's just like, if he could have like 5 more fire alarms, we would have them up there. I think Lily's this year, and I'm sure he's going to what Lewis done next year. I think Lily's original from the 80s when it was built. So we're in the process of going through that right now to get that done. That's somewhere in the neighborhood of like $400,000. Continuation of switch and server replacements. We did half the district last year for Steve Wells. So we're going to do another 25%. So we're almost there. We're going to be 75% after this year. So I think there's 4 buildings being done this year. I don't remember all of them, but I'm pretty sure Lauren Fleming, Union Valley, I think this one. And then we have another couple for next year. Finalization of the ROD grants. This is what, $18-19 million that we're going to get done this summer. Every school is being affected. Every single gymnasium is being affected. Glen Landing's having a brand new system put in almost every classroom, and Ann Mullen, the chillers are going in. So Ann Mullen's original from when it was open, I think in the mid-90s, I think. And we just got notification today that chillers are actually in, which is great news. So if the chillers are in, as soon as school's done, they're ready to go. Same thing with Glen Landing. All their units are in also. So we're ready to go. Hopefully everything will be up by the time school starts, and we'll just going to cross our fingers for that one.
Mhm.
Science room renovations. I know this is something that Mr. Bildu has been after for years. So we're in the middle of this right now. I know Tim has had countless meetings regarding this. It involves built-in casework, some sinks, some electrical outlets. revising the roof fans and some new student desks and chairs. I think there's 3 rooms in each building. So we're gonna know soon what we're gonna do with that, but that is part of the capital projects that are in here right now. I want to say that's about $1 million of that, that we saw earlier. So I guess this goes hand in hand with the brand new curriculum. Miscellaneous numbers. I love miscellaneous numbers. It's my favorite slide. Adequacy budget. So when you see in the paper of some of these districts that are raising taxes for, that are, 10, 20%, because you're going to see it, because this is the first year that the governor is going to say, if you're below adequacy, we're going to let you raise taxes all the way up to adequacy if you need to. And a lot of districts have chosen to do that. A lot of them are, 33% increases, 20% increases. We're not doing that. But we could go to $20 million extra if we did what the governor said, and a lot of districts are. That's where that number's coming from. So if they're below adequacy, they're allowed to go up to that number. For us, it's 20 million. Bank cap available for future years, 2.9 million. All this is if you want to go above 2%, if you got a number there, you're allowed to go up to that number. So 2% for us is about 1.2 million. So if we needed to, we're allowed to go to 2.9 on top of the 1.2. Amount of capital reserve for future years, 6.7 million. Amount of maintenance reserve available for future years, 3.4 million. And there's 2 of them that are in here. When you approve this, you're going to approve some capital reserve going out for the science rooms, for a little bit for the ROD grant. Maintenance reserve, there's some things going out for that. So every year we put money in and then we put it where we need it at budget time. Emergency reserve for future years, we're going to use that also on the intrusion system. There'll be 396 available after this year. The amount of reserve funds allocated in budget, which is I covered in revenue, $6.7 million. Now I'm going to take any questions. So if you want to go through the slides and ask any questions.
I would like to know when the science rooms are scheduled to be complete.
I think in the bid specs, they're scheduled to be complete August 22nd.
On that question there, were we going to do not all the rooms first? I thought that was part of the discussion. We were going to see what worked first before actually executing.
I wasn't invited. Tim and Chris Mason, I guess, made the decision. They wanted to affect every single school. So I think every single school's in here. Now, last year when we looked at it, I think it was like a $2.5 million. So I think they toned it down a little bit.
Yeah, I know it was definitely less than what the original was, which we were able to affect more rooms by doing that. But I thought we had the discussion around not executing all of them, like getting them all done at once, so we can kind of see what worked and what didn't work from the scaled down version, because it is a.
I don't think we went in that direction. I think they want to do all of them at the same time.
Okay.
Whether or not we can, I don't have that answer for you right now.
I have a question. With regards to the federal aid, being that it's significantly lower than
The semi number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is a need for our district to perform at this level. What plans do we have that we can ensure that all the children get the services that they're needed?
Oh, they're not going to give us the money, but you still got to do the services.
Correct, but I mean, where is?
We're just not going to get reimbursed for it.
Yeah. Everything's gonna be.
Yes,
awesome.
yep. They're getting the services. We're just not getting reimbursed. Unfortunately.
Any other questions?
Well, I guess
Board?
the only other question on, just to clarify the bank cap stuff, that's for so the state aid that we get. We never know what that number is going to be. So when you create your budget, it's kind of a guess until we know what that number looks like.
Yeah.
When we have this in here, that allows for, if we got $3 million less next year, that can go towards filling that gap in, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of what it's for. And anything usually above that, you start seeing us make deposits into capital reserve and maintenance reserve. You don't see it here, but you will probably see it in June. You're allowed to do it twice. You're allowed to do it at budget time and you're allowed to do it in June.
Right.
Is that it? No other questions?
No.
Can I get a motion to open the floor to public comments on the 25-26 budget? Thank you, Mrs. Johnson with the motion. Thank you, Mr. Gibbons with the second. Any public comments? I'm gonna ask that you come step up to the mic.
Can I just roll call that first?
Oh, you think someone wants to say no? Yeah, roll call that.
Mrs. Fritz,
Here.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mrs. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Dentino,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Yes,
Now,
thank you. Any public comments on the budget? Can I get a motion to close the floor of public comments on the budget?
So moved.
Thank you,
I second.
Mrs. Johnson, second, Mrs. Hendry. I'll let you roll call this one too.
Mrs. Fritz,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mrs. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Dentino,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Yes. Is your part? Just, Mr. McCall will do this part.
My part, right?
Yep.
Asking for the board's approval for items A through M to adopt the budget. And I just want to read the budget motion real quick, which is items A. Now therefore be it resolved that in consideration of the above, the Board of Education hereby adopts the following final budget for the 25-26 school year. General Fund, 139,369,518. Special revenue, 13,776,303. For a total budget of 153,145,821. The local tax levy required to support the tentative 25-26 school budget. General Fund, $56,584,280.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Can I get a second?
Second.
Mrs. Hendry. Any questions from the board? Okay. Can we get the roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mrs. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Dentino,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donnell.
Yes. Any public comments on anything? Nothing? Seeing none? Any board member comments?
Being that we're gonna be meeting after teacher appreciation, I just wish that all the teachers have a great day for a whole week because they're truly superheroes.
Thank you, Mrs. Hendry. Anyone else? Can I get a motion to, just so the public knows, we're gonna go into executive session. We're gonna come, there's no action that's going to be taken. We're gonna come back out and just close the meeting, just so you're aware. There is one, this is typically Mr. Long. So one item that is confidential. Can I get a motion to go into exec?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Second,
Second.
thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. And a roll call, please.
Mrs. Fritz,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mrs. Henry.
Here. Yes. Yes.
That is a yes. Mr. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Dentino,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Yes, and I am here as well. Okay.